Hello adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're at a beautiful campsite, so I thought this was a perfect time to answer some of your burning questions. So today we're doing a Q&A van life style. Now the first question of the day is one that you guys have been asking me for a while. Would I ever put my bucket list that I talk about online anywhere so you guys could also see the bucket list? Possibly, I don't know. My bucket list is ever changing, so anything that I would put them on would have to be able to be accessed and constantly updated. And so I could probably do that with like a Google Doc. However, at the same time, my bucket list is huge, guys. I don't think you understand. There are 50 states, and each of those states I have an extensive list of things that I would like to go to. And the way that I use my bucket list is as I go there, I take it off the list. So I'm not sure if that would be super effective for you guys, but at the same time, I do encourage you guys to make your own bucket list that's like mine so that you can have all the things that you would be interested in. Now, I understand looking for inspiration, and so that's why many of you are asking, but I just don't know a good way to make it where it's manageable for me to use it as well as you guys. So if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Now this next question is a really great one. A lot of people have wondered why I chose to do the kind of content that I do. In this great big sphere of YouTube, you can do any kind of content you want. There are some regulations and rules, of course, if you want to be monetized or if you want to be shared with others. However, for the most part, it's pretty lax. But I have chosen to curate my content in a way that thinks about you guys. I want everyone to be able to come to my channel and feel comfortable in my space, so I don't use any language, I don't allow any kind of like toxic behaviors, and I try to tell everybody to please keep it cute in the comments. And that's because overall the user experience of using my channel as a resource on YouTube is the most important thing to me. I want to be able to share something that's a really cool location, and for those who can't come, I want it to feel like a digital field trip. And I want to be able to go to places and other people make it a possibility to go there and then be able to actually see the place and understand it without having to listen to me trash talk or say weird things. I don't think that channels that are talking about promotion of the outdoors and all of those things really should be doing those things, because ultimately it's not very inclusive, and that's okay. Again, everyone has the right to do what they want to do on their channel, but I decided that brain wrinkles, knowledge, history, and the understanding of van life is my focus. Now, is this all of my life? I travel about 75% of the time. If you're interested in seeing what else happens in my life, go over to my tiny home channel, Tiny Texas Living, where you'll see another clean look at reality. Again, I want everyone to feel included on my channel, so I would never isolate people with language. So I hope that that's helpful. Now, these next couple are just shorter questions that you guys asked that are fun. One was, do I like to dress to impress or dress to rest? And I would definitely say that doing van life, I dress more so in athleisure wear because it just makes more sense in places like this where we're in the outdoors, because there's no time and place for heels and tons of makeup out here. There's just not. However, whenever I do go into settings that it makes sense, ooh, we dress to impress. We love to dress to impress. I love doing my makeup. I love finding weird things that I can wear. I like being that like casual vibe that's also kind of fancy. And so both, absolutely both. Now this next one though, I'm gonna ask Riley for her idea too, because I think each of us are very subjective and different. The question is, what are our top 3 travel snacks? And I guarantee that mine and Riley's are probably very different. Riley, what are your favorite 3 travel snacks?
Snacks. Okay, whenever we travel, I need something crunchy, I need something sweet, and something to drink. Does that count as a travel snack?
I mean, if it's like a boba, maybe, but if it's just like a water, no.
Well, like a soda or hot cocoa. We had hot cocoa last night.
Hot cocoa was delightful. Now, what would be your favorite sweet or crunchy though?
I'm on a chocolate kick currently. So you know those, I got them originally for s'mores, but we ended up never making s'mores. But you know those Hershey's Symphony, where it's like extra creamy with toffee and chocolate and almonds?
Ooh.
That's my something sweet currently. And my favorite crunchy, I like pretzels.
Cool. That works. Yeah, as for me, I kind of agree with those guidelines of something sweet, something like crunchy or salty. I really like a good chip moment. So I would say that I always try out the new flavors of chips. So anytime I can find a new flavor of chips, I try them out. I would definitely say that I look for those first. And if I can't find that, then I'll usually go with like a barbecue chip. It's just a basic, easy thing. As for sweet, I don't do sweet as much, but whenever I do sweet, I like Reese's peanut butter cups. They're delightful. They're delightful. I don't use a lot of them, but if I get like a 4-pack, it lasts me 4 days, 1 per day. It's great. And then other than that, snack-wise, I don't know. Maybe if we're going with the drink category of a drinky snack, I would do a boba because I pick those up all over the country. Now this next one asked, when will you guys get an update on my dad's shuttle? And that is a very good question, a very valid question. I'm hoping soon. Dad has to get started on working on it again. Just life happens, and he's not in super rush. So even though we might be in more of a rush to see it, he's got to figure out how he wants to get it all set up for my mom and himself. And so as soon as he gets going on it real good and there's a good solid update, I'll share it with you guys. We'll say this, they do have a shower option and a water purification option that they will be sharing that I'll probably do dedicated videos about because they're pretty cool systems. But again, we're just waiting on the progress that you guys would be excited about and that Dad will be happy with. And I want to make sure that we don't put pressure on him either, because at the same time, like, he's got a lot of stuff going on, guys. He's just a busy man. So I want him to get to that place where they can travel, but at the same time, I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, are you there yet? Are you there yet? So soon, I hope soon. Now this next one's kind of funny because I know on my channel, I've shown so many different animals that I've seen at camp. And that's probably why this question came about. Someone asked me what I do to get those animals to come in. If I feed them or do anything like that, I do not. I definitely do not recommend feeding the animals out in nature. That's against leave no trace. And we've talked about that pretty extensively here on the channel. I've always been a person who has resonated with the animals for some reason, even the feral cats at my house. I try to be nice to things around me just in general. I talk to them, and that might look weird sometimes, but that's okay, because ultimately it gives me the opportunity to have some really close interaction with wildlife without actually touching the wildlife, which you should never ever do. You shouldn't feed them, you shouldn't touch them, and if they come into your camp, you should look at them from a safe distance, because the more that we as humans interact with those animals, the more that they get used to their environment being disrupted. It doesn't matter if we're in a camping area like this one where we could camp out here for up to 14 days. This is still their home, so we need to respect that. So one of the things that I've always done is just wake up with kind heart, talk quietly. If I see an animal, try to make it feel comfortable around me so I can film it, but at the same time respect its space. And I think that that is what realistically makes many of you guys, as well as my mom, call me Snow White. So Riley, our next question involves you.
Yay!
So Debbie Frampton. Hi Debbie. She sent us something saying that she enjoys watching us, and she asked if we're intentionally funny or if it's just us. This is Riley all the time. Just say.
I don't know, maybe accidentally funny?
I think you're just funny.
I'm funny, yes.
I think intentional means that you're doing it for a laugh. I think that just being funny is just you existing in your space, being yourself. I mean, I think that we're just our regular selves, and sometimes that comes across as comedic. At the same time, do we have fun?
Yeah!
Absolutely. Okay, Riley's currently breaking down her part of camp, so I thought that this was a good time for us to talk about the main question that I've gotten from you guys over 8 years. I've gotten this question so many times. Short of what is your favorite campsite, this is one of the more popular questions. It is what inspires me. Inspiration comes in many forms for all of us, and I think that finding our own version of inspiration is the most important thing that we can do. However, for me personally, inspiration comes from sharing. Just in general, sharing with you guys. Along the way, I started out wanting to share my adventures so that others could be able to see the cool things that are around us, because a lot of people don't take the time to stop and look around. They're just going. And so whenever I noticed all of these tiny little things around, I started to go, I feel like I've been missing out. And so I started to look within of those small things, and within those you see great beauty. That's why a lot of times here on the channel I share not only just like the wide views of the place that we're at so you can see like for context, but I show you the little things that make that space special. And by doing that, I think that it paints the bigger picture of how you can be impacted by a space. And so that is inspiring to me. So when I come into a place, especially one like this, I look for the little pieces of inspiration around that bring me joy that I can share with you guys. Also, knowledge always is going to inspire me, so I hope that's helpful. I know it might not be the answer that you guys are looking for, because again, we all seek inspiration from different things. But with this is something that brings me so much joy and so much inspiration myself. Riley's about to put up her chair, but I caught her here before she gets in. Someone asked, how does someone meet people like us?
Vanlife events.
Absolutely. That's how we met.
That's how we met, yeah.
Yeah. High five, friend.
Woo-woo.
High five. Vanlife events. That's where we've met most of our friends.
Yeah, most of our friends. The first year or two I was on the road, I just kept attending all the Vanlife events I possibly could. Admittedly, it was cheaper to do it back then. But that's the easiest way to make friends. And then once I kind of found my core group of friends, I didn't really go to events as much. But actually this year we started to do more events.
Absolutely. Now, does that mean every event that you go to is going to be your event to find a person that you're going to click with? No, it doesn't. At the same time, you're more likely to meet people who you resonate with if you simply go out to these places and try. And that's something that we could all definitely benefit from. If you are looking for community, the best place to find community is at an event signaling community. Whenever you go out to a campsite, if there's somebody camping beside you, it's not always signaling community. It's signaling, hey, I'm in my personal bubble. I'm probably not going to be receptive to having somebody come knock on my door. However, at a van event, there's lots of events that help you to kind of be away from your vehicles, to kind of get to know each other so that you feel more comfortable with those people being near your vehicle. And I think that that's pretty cool. But definitely check out some events. Now, the next one is a very good one. A lot of you guys are always interested in our specific thoughts on different aspects of YouTube. And I think that that's a great way to start communication about those thoughts. So this particular question is great because they asked, what are our 3 icks of YouTube? Now, I have 3 and I'll share 2 of them with you. We'll go get Riley's and then I'll share my big one with you guys after that. Okay, the first one I would definitely say is that sometimes YouTube unsubscribes people. That's an ick. I don't like that. It's really frustrating because not only as a content creator is it frustrating, but for you guys, it's super frustrating. And a lot of times you'll let me know, hey, I'm not subscribed anymore. I don't understand. And I also have been there. I've been unsubscribed from so many people and it's just like, why? Like, this is supposed to be the largest streaming platform and yet we still have glitches. That's a big ick. That's a big one. My other huge YouTube ick is that sometimes, just sometimes, whenever you post a video, there are interesting like bots and things like that chime in. So you have to put in comment filters. And in all reality, if they're saying the same thing over and over and over, you would think that YouTube would just like filter them out and say, no, maybe not. Maybe this isn't a real person. But sometimes they don't because they get clever and they get through. And then ultimately, it's just like a pain to have to block them and do the extra stuff. So on the admin end, that's a real big ick. So Riley, what are your big YouTube icks?
I guess my biggest one currently is internet bullying.
Right.
I don't like internet bullying.
Not at all.
Yeah. I've been very fortunate that I haven't had a lot of those, but I know that you get some, and that's really not nice.
Yeah, you know, it comes with it. But at the same time, yeah, I agree. Definitely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Any more?
And then another one, I don't know if this counts as a YouTube ick, but I'm a big fan of, watching YouTube. And I just feel like sometimes some people share too much personal information.
I would have to agree.
Yeah. Now, I will admit, 2 years ago when I first, actually probably longer, when I first was doing YouTube and stuff, I thought, sharing your life on YouTube meant sharing everything. And so I shared a bit about my mental health journey and the internet ripped me apart. So really it just kind of goes back to the internet bullying thing, but I feel like you wouldn't get bullied so hard if you didn't just share everything. I think you taught me the best lesson of all is that not everyone deserves to know my truth.
Absolutely. Kind of jumping off what Riley said. There's a lot of people who don't understand that safety is super important and they post in real time and then they put themselves in harm's way and it's really scary. There's other people who share a lot of their lives and then whenever it comes down to it and then people have that access to them, bad things happen and that's really scary also. So I think it's important to protect your peace at all points and that goes well along with Riley's icks. Protecting your peace is the best thing you can do online, just in general. And with that, now it's time for my biggest one, my biggest, ugliest, my biggest YouTube ick comes from the lack of understanding of diversity. Let me explain. I'm not talking about the diversity that you're probably thinking. I'm talking about that each and every one of us that has a YouTube channel, we're all different. We're all different humans. We all have different life paths. We all have different adventure paths for the day. We all choose to film in a different way, and all of those are super valid. However, there are some people online who always just want to compare you to other people. And that's silly because on my best day, I am the best version of me. I'm not the best version of Riley. So if I were trying to be Riley, I would be the worst version of Riley because I'm not Riley. But that's just a silly illustration of how this works. A lot of people don't understand that because each person has that creativity that they can use. It goes back to the comment that I had earlier about why I choose to do educational content. Educational content is something that there was a gap in that I really could see myself in because it's what I want to do. I want to enrich others. I want to inspire others. However, me doing that means I'm going to move, and go. And some people just want you to sit and stay. And that's a disservice to not only myself, because I'm clearly a go girly, but also to the people who enjoy the content that I make. And then they'll sit there and they'll pitch out another name and be like, well, you should do this like. No, we should all do the thing that we want to do, how we want to do it. It's kind of an ick to think that people would want to minimize who you are so that you could be more like somebody else. Even if that channel's a huge channel, that's them being their most authentic self with their personality. And if they're a small channel, that's them being their most authentic self with their personality. So they shouldn't try to like model themselves after another person. They should find a way to be their most authentic self. And we should stop comparing people. We just should in general. So that is my biggest ick. Comparisons. Just let people be the best version of them, because that's pretty awesome. If we were all out here looking alike, sounding alike, shooting the same videos, how boring would that be? Nobody would want to watch all those. But instead, we can turn on YouTube at any time and find any variety of creators and any subject matter, and each one of them is unique and different. And that's what makes an ick into something that's a yay. Riley. Next question. Have you ever gotten the knock?
I have not.
Ooh.
Fingers crossed that I don't ever get the knock.
If you do get the knock, what will you do?
Freak out.
Yeah, fair.
Panic.
Fair.
Cry.
Absolutely, maybe.
And then move.
Yeah, because there's no disputing once you get the knock.
Right.
As for me, I have gotten the knock one time. It was whenever I was still tent camping. I was in my car. The weather was bad. It got late. I pulled into a casino. I thought I was good. I was just going to lay down in the back seat and just get a couple hours sleep and then move on. And I got a knock and I was like, oh no. And the guy told me that because I was in a car as opposed to a van, I couldn't stay at the casino. So I moved on. I went to a truck stop. I did the same thing there. Just stayed the night for a few hours, moved on the next morning at like 6 a.m. Yeah, it wasn't fun. I was settled into my PJs. I was getting into my cozy mode, and all of a sudden it was just like, and I was like, oh. I did all the things Riley said she would do except for the cry. And it was more so that my blood just went up to the top and I was like, oh, it was very nerve-wracking. It wasn't fun. But yeah, in those cases, you just gotta move. It's better not to panic, just move. Now this last one is a good one as we pack up to hit the road. This one is one I get asked frequently, and it is, how do I combat loneliness while traveling? You know what, guys? I think this is one we're also gonna get Riley's opinion on, because again, everybody's different. I'm gonna do another Q&A to tell you guys a little bit more of my behind the scenes because you guys showed up and went crazy in the comments section. But we're gonna answer this one first. So how do we combat loneliness? Riley.
Yeah.
While you're cleaning up your dishes there for your first round, how do you combat loneliness?
This is a tough one to answer whenever people ask because I don't really feel lonely on the road. Now, mind you, it's very specifically because I'm part-time and well, I chat with you every single day, even from long distance. But I guess if I were on the road full-time, which I was the first couple years, I combated loneliness by just constantly looking for a new adventure. Now, I realize not everybody can do that, but that's what worked for me. And I think there are Facebook groups too. There are so many new apps to connect with people and, just try to socialize, I guess.
Now, I'm kind of in the same boat. I've been asked this question so many times, but I'm not really a lonely person by nature. I keep myself super busy. And so when people ask this, I'm probably the wrong person to give advice on this one, just because I am super social. So anywhere I go, I can meet a new friend. I mean, when we were at Fisher's Landing, I even met a bathroom buddy. We were standing in line waiting on a bathroom, and by the time that we had had a conversation, because we were waiting for that like 2.5 minutes, like I have her number, we might hang out again. Like that's where we're at. I am very social, so it is super hard for me to get lonely. The times that I am in the van by myself, a lot of times I am talking to like Riley or Dee or some of my friends from Dallas, and I keep very busy even in that. My times that I'm not around that are my relaxed times, and so those are very intentional. And so I don't know that I'm very helpful on this, but I think that Riley was right. Go into town, be social, meet new people, go to meetups, and try very hard to find those core friends that you can just text at any point in time and be like, hey, I'm kind of struggle busing right now, and they'll be there for you. So I hope that's helpful, and with that, let's wrap this up. Okay guys, with that, I know that's not all of your questions, but again, I will be getting to more of those in a future upload. For now, I'm gonna take down these lights and kind of wrap up my campsite. We have some more adventuring to go, and very soon I will be in that state of traveling solo without Riley. So we'll see if that lonely changes, but for now, remember guys, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time. I hope you've had a good time coming along for this Q&A. I'll see you very soon for the next one. Till next time, bye.